Hello and welcome to the Eldritch Stronghold. I'm Mitchell. Welcome back to spoiler season. This time we have the new murder of Karlov Manor. Today officially started off the spoiler season. They released the Face Commander decks, so I think I'll hit them first. We'll start with the first one, which is Goust, I believe. Eyes of the Glade. It's Naya, but has a hybrid red and white. It's a Dryad detective. 2/2. Whenever a creature you control that was turned faced up this turn deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. You can tap them and turn target face down attacking creature you control faced up. It's kind of cool. It's like a sneak attack commander. If you know Flesh and Blood, there's a character in there or a hero in the game that can sneak attack, so the opponent doesn't know what's about to hit them before they block it. And this kind of seems like a magic version of it. I'll have to see. I know they have like Morph and Manifest, but we'll have to see what other kind of face down, face up type of creatures you have in this set. Next one I have is Mirko, Oppressive Theorist. It's a 1 blue and a black for a 1/3 Vampire Detective. It's a flying vigilance. Whenever you surveil, put a +1/+1 counter on Mirko. At the beginning of the end step, you may return target creature card with power less than Mirko from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. So it looks like we're seeing more of the finality counters. And this is a reanimation surveil deck. Surveil is going to fill your yard, and then this dude can bring back creatures from it. Next one, we have Morska, Undersea Sleuth. A green, white, and a blue for a Vendelkin Fish Detective. It's a 2/3. You have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of your upkeep, you investigate. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Morska. I like the creature typing. I really like the art. The seafloor really stands out. I can't wait to see that one in foil. Last one is Nelly Borka, Impulsive Accuser for 2, a red and a white for a human detective. 2/4. Vigilance. Whenever Nelly attacks, you suspect a target creature, then you goad all suspected creatures. Suspect is a new mechanic in this set, and a suspected creature has menace and can't block. So even you can make one of your opponents a suspect, or make one of your own creatures a suspect, and I see benefits both ways. Whenever one or more creatures an opponent controls deals combat damage to one or more of your opponents, you and the controller of those creatures each draw a card. So drawing on a Boros Commander, like to see more of it. They did release some of the special guests. This time around there's a couple cool ones. Tragic Slips were really good, but the Gamble and the Victimize, that Victimize looks really sweet. And then they got a Drown and Lock down here. Hope to see what other ones, or can't wait to see what other ones they have. The Fabricate's actually not bad looking. Alright, they have a couple of the Clue set cards. So the Ravnica set also has like a version of the Clue, like the board game, coming out, and I guess you can get cards in it. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I don't know if you get all the cards in the game, or if it's like a pack thing, or just random. But they got Mastermind Plume, 2 and a black for 2/2 legendary creature human wizard. Whenever he attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. If an artifact card was exiled this way, you create a treasure token. Whenever you cast a spell, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So I'm guessing this is one of the people that can be accused of the murder in the set. Not sure how it's gonna work. The land cycle and the thing, or the locations in Clue, so library, living room, I imagine all the other rooms. They enter tap. They tap for a red or blue, and you can pay for, tap, and investigate. I'm pretty sure all the lands in the cycle do the same thing, just of the various colors. You have Knife for 1 red. You get a clue equipment, so it also counts as a clue, which is pretty cool. As long as it's your turn, a creature gets +1, has first strike, and you can pay 2 sacrifices to draw a card, and that's the clue side of it. And then you can equip it for 2. Undercover Butler, 2 and a hybrid blue-black. 2/3 human rogue. Whenever Undercover Butler attacks, the player with the most life or tied for the most life, it can't be blocked this turn. And then Lavinia, foil to Conspiracy, 1 and 2 hybrid blue and white for human detective, 2/3 vigilance. Whenever you cast your second spell this or each turn, investigate. You can tap and add 2 colors. Activate this only during your opponent's turns because they can help you pay for your counter spells. That's actually pretty cool as Zori's commander. Moving on. Yep, we're actually hitting the actual set. Just like last time, we'll probably just hit the rares and mythics for now. We'll start off with Judith, Carnage, Connoisseur. 3 colorless, a black and a red for a 3/4 human shaman. Whenever you cast an instance or sorcery spell, choose 1. That spell gains death touch and lifelink. Or you create a 2/2 red imp creature token with, when this creature dies, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. This one seems worth building. Your lightning bolts have death touch. Your shocks have death touch. They also have lifelink, so they're going to gain you life as well as killing a creature no matter the size of it. Unless it has indestructible or something. And the other side of it, just creating the 2/2 imp. And then when it dies, it deals 2 damage. I'm a sucker for cards that... I like cards that when you cast something, you also get a creature. When you cast something. So that fits into there. I think this thing will get built a lot. The Planeswalker of this set is Kaya, Spirit's Justice. Oops, sorry about that. Spirit's Justice. 2 colors, a white and a black. Comes out with 3 loyalty. The static ability on it is whenever one or more creatures you control and or creature cards in your graveyard are put into exile, you may choose a creature card from among them. Until the end of turn, create a token that's a copy, except it has flying. That's pretty cool in a Planeswalker. Yeah, I dig that. That's not bad. And then her +2 is Surveil 2. Then exile card from your graveyard. +1, you create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. And her -2 is you exile target creature you control. For each other player, exile up to 1 target creature that player controls. Her -2 is actually pretty good. You could exile something on everybody's field. You have to do something of your own, but you can create a token with her +1, which kind of helps with that. And then the Surveil. I mean, all that helps with her static. She's a pretty cool Planeswalker. We'll move over to Kellyan, Inquisitive Prodigy. 2 colors, a green and a blue, for a human fairy detective. As you would imagine, there's a lot of detectives in this set. This one is one of the adventure spells as a commander. So the sorcery side of it is Tail the Suspect for a green and a blue. You investigate. You may play an additional land this turn. And then you can cast it from the adventure, and it becomes a 3/4 flying vigilance. Whenever this attacks, destroy up to 1 target artifact. If you controlled that permanent, you draw a card. You turn your treasures into cards. That's pretty cool. Aurelia's Vindicator. For 2 and 2 white, you get an angel 4/2 flying lifelink ward 2. It has disguise, which is another mechanic, and you have to pay X. 3 and a white. This card doesn't say what disguise is, so I'm not sure what disguise is right now, but we'll probably find it up there later. When Aurelia's Vindicator is turned face up, exile up to X other target creatures from your battlefield and/or creatures from your graveyard. When this leaves the battlefield, return the exile cards to the owner's hand. So I'm guessing the disguise will have to turn it face down since the ability turns it faced up. It's a mythic. This seems pretty cool. Another angel, you can't complain. Atrada, Deadly Fugitive. It's all 1 colorless for a blue and a black. A vampire assassin, legendary creature. A 1/4 death touch. Face down creatures you control have paid 2 blue and a black. Turn this creature face up. If you can't exile it, then you may cast an exile card without paying its mana cost. Whenever an assassin you control deals combat damage to an opponent, cloak the top card of that player's library. Alright, a lot of stuff going on here. Pretty cool being Dimir colors. It's another card dealing with the face down stuff again. We're probably gonna see a lot of this. And then the cloak right here. Cloak the top card of that player's library. I have no idea what that is right now. And this is pretty cool. So if it's a creature that is face down, or if the face down creature you have is a creature underneath, then you'll be able to flip it face up. But if it's a spell, then you can just cast it without paying its mana cost. Extra turn spells, whatever it may be. That card seems fun. Next, more legendaries. Agris cost, Spirit of Justice, 2 colors, a red and a white for a Spirit Detective legendary creature, 2/4, double strike and vigilance. Whenever Agris costs enters the battlefield or attacks, choose up to 1 target creature. If it's suspected, exile it, otherwise suspect it. So this can get rid of your suspected creatures, and it can also suspect other creatures. Goes pretty cool with this one, so they definitely could be hand in hand. Next one, I really like this one. Massacre Girl, known killer, 2 colors and 2 black for a 4/4. Menace, human assassin. Creatures you control have wither, and whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, if your toughness was less than 1, you draw a card. I've always wanted a wither commander. Massacre Girl is a pretty cool card, and for those who don't know what wither is, they deal damage to creatures in the form of -1 counters. So it's kind of like Infect, but it doesn't deal the poison counters to the players. But it's a pretty cool. I think this. I might build this one. Moving along, we got Talsimir Midnight's Light, 2 colors, a green and double white for an Elf Scout 3/2 lifelink. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you create Voja legendary 5/5 green and white wolf creature token with trample. This is pretty much just like, I don't know if this. I don't think this is a reprint. This might be the reprinted one. Whenever you control attacks come out target creature blocks the wolf. I'm not sure if this is a reprint. I know there's an old one of him that summons the same wolf. Tristani, 3 whispers. This is the 3rd of the Tristanis. When the first one got printed, when a creature enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to its toughness. I love that card. That's right when I started playing. I absolutely fell in love with that card. The 3rd installment of the Tristanis is a green, a hybrid of green and white, and then another white. So 3 mana total. 4/4 for a Dryad. You can pay 2, a colorless and a green. Target creature gains Death Touch until the end of turn. You can pay a hybrid green and white. Target creature gains Vigilance until the end of turn. You pay 2 colorless and a white. Target creature gains Double Strike until the end of turn. Just a buff giver. Sits in the back line as a 4/4. It can target itself with all these for a total of 5, 6 mana. You make any creature have Death Touch, Vigilance, and Double Strike. Could come in handy if you find a slot in this deck. This thing's pretty cool, being able to give any of your creatures this, and it can give. There's no tapping, so you can give multiple creatures Death Touch. You can give multiple creatures Double Strike for your whole field, all your tokens, whatever it may be, whatever you have mana for. Next is Kylox, Visionary Inventor, 5 colorless, a blue and a red for a 4/4. Vashino Artificer, so Vashino creature type's nice to see. It's a Menace, Ward 2, and Haste. Whenever he attacks, sacrifice any number of other creatures, then exile the top cards of your library, where X is their total power. You may cast any number of instants or sorcery spell from among the exile cards without paying the mana cost. He has a lot of requirements with this dude, and he has 7 mana. But Menace, Ward 2, Haste, it's going to hit the ground running. It's not going to be able to be blocked easy, and it's protected by Ward. So this 7 mana can be justified, I guess, there. When it attacks, sacrifice any number of other creatures. So you can't sacrifice him, so you have to sacrifice other creatures, and then you're only able to hit instants and sorcerers off the top. So the best way to probably build this one is to make tokens with your instants and sorceries, and then sacrifice them tokens. So that way you're getting you have more of a chance to hit instants and sorceries that way, instead of putting actual creatures in your deck and then hitting them off the top. You only gotta worry about the lands and the ramp and stuff you hit. The next card is Case of the Ransacked Lab, 2 colors and a blue for an enchantment case. So the case is a subtype I haven't seen before. Instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less. To solve, you've cast 4 more instants and sorcery spells this turn. If unsolved, solve at the beginning of your end step. Solved. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, draw a card. Okay, so this is... At first I thought this was a saga, so this ain't even a saga. So this is like the whole new thing. I don't know why I was thinking it was saga. So instant sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast. If you've cast 4 or more instant sorcery spells this turn, you solve the case, and then whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, you draw a card. Or if you pay 3, if you're unsolved at the beginning of your end step, it gets solved. So you play this at the beginning of your end step, it solves anyway. This is, yeah, okay, that's weird. It had me a little confused at first, just the way it was set up, but I guess we got a new enchantment type, so that's pretty cool. Krinko, Baron of the 10 Streets. 2 colors and a red, 3/3 goblin haste. Tap, sacrifice an artifact. Put a +1/+1 counter on each goblin you control. Whenever an artifact is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay 1 red. If you do, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. It gains haste until the end of the turn. Krinko's always going to get a new card. Krinko's always going to be leading them goblins. There's another one to add to the pile. Pretty soon you could probably just make a mono Krinko deck. War Leader's Call. 1 colorless, a red and a white, an enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+1, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, War Leader's Call deals 1 damage to each opponent. Pretty cool token decks. Izoni, Center of the Web. 4 colorless, a black and a green for a 5/4 elf detective. Legendary creature. Menace. Whenever Izoni enters the battlefield or attacks, you may collect evidence 4. If you do, you create 2 2/1 black and green spider creature tokens with menace and reach. Sacrifice 4 tokens, reveal 2, then draw 2 cards and gain 2 life. I felt like I said a lot of 2s there. When you enter the battlefield or attacks, you're gonna collect evidence 4. This one I actually do know what collect evidence is. This is when you have to exile cards like up to that mana cost. So like to collect evidence, you have to exile like 2 2-drops or 1 4-drop or 3 and a 1-drop from your graveyard, and then you get the extra trigger. So if you do, you create 2 1/1 or 2 2/1 black and green spider creature tokens with menace and reach, and then you can sacrifice the tokens and draw cards. So another new mechanic they have is the collect evidence. Alright, next card is Tessa, Opulent Oligarch. 1 colorless, a white and a black for a 2/3 human advisor. Thought she was going to be a detective. Death Touch. At the beginning of your end step, investigate for each opponent who lost life this turn. Whenever a clue you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token flying. This ability only triggers once each turn. Completely ruined by the once each turn. I really don't see where they... I don't think it'd be too powerful if it just said, you know, whenever a clue hits the graveyard, you get a 1/1 white and black spirit token. I mean, it could get out of control, but there's so much out of control stuff. I don't think this would have got too out of hand. They shouldn't have added the triggers only once. I guess it's once each turn, so I guess you could do it on on everyone's turn. So I guess it's a little better, but it's still. Next, this is actually the card I've seen for the collect evidence. An Axebane Ferox. It's a 2 colorless, 2 green for a beast 4/4, death touch and haste, and its ward cost is collect evidence 4. So whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell ability and opponent controls, counter it unless that player exiles cards with total mana value 4 or greater from their graveyard. We'll skip over the commons and uncommons, like I said. Next one is Analyze the Pollen. For 1 green, you get a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may collect evidence 8. So you're exiling cards with total mana value 8 or greater from your graveyard. You search your library for a basic land card. If evidence was collected, so you did the collect evidence 8, instead search your library for a creature or land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Become a Worldly Tutor if you've collected the evidence. Assassin Trophy gets another reprint. It'll be in Standard again. You can get it for all your other decks. It's a really good card, and I'm glad to see reprint. Land Cycle. So this is the Land Cycle. They are fetchable. which is really cool. Always love to see more fetchable lands because they can always replace like your guild gates and stuff because fetchable is always better. It enters battlefield tap, always sad, but the fetchable makes up for it. When it enters battlefield, you surveil 1, kind of just like the scry land cycle, but you get the option to put it in your graveyard, which actually helps a lot of the newer mechanics we've been seeing. It works with the graveyard. Right here. Next one, Homicide Investigator. 1 colorless and a black. Whenever one or more non-token creatures you control dies, investigate. This only triggers once each turn. Sad to see that, but I do like this card. Plays real good with the new Tessa. Sharp-Eyed Rookie. 1 colorless and a green for a 2/2 Human Detective. Vigilance. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if its power is greater than Sharp-Eyed Rookie's power, or if its toughness is greater than Sharp-Eyed Rookie's toughness, put a +1/+1 counter on Sharp-Eyed Rookie and investigate. Yeah, just keeps creaking grower, kind of like evolve. Malek Reforged Researcher. Ooh, it's a new Malek. I love the old one. This one's pretty cool. The art's real nice, really nice. 3 colors, a blue and a red for a star weird detective. Malek's Reforged Researcher's power and toughness are each equal to twice the number of instances or cards in your graveyard. And the first instance of the sorcery spell you cast each turn costs 3 less to cast. Moving on, we got Atomic Weirder of Law. 1 colorless, a white, and a black for a 2/4 Human Advisor. Affinity for Planeswalkers. So it can cost 1 less if you control a Planeswalker. Flying Vigilance. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or a Planeswalker control, that opponent loses 3 life and you draw a card. More attacks affect sphere being attacked. Next one is Voja, Jaws of the Conclave. So this is the wolf of the elf dude that we saw earlier. It's a 5/5 wolf for 2 colorless, a red, a green, and a white. So it's a Naya wolf. Vigilance, Trample, and Ward 3. When Voja attacks, put X +1/+1 counters on each creature you control, where X is the number of elves you control, and then draw a card for each wolf you control. So it looks like it's like one of them like Ren and Siri dual tribal type decks. You can do it with elves and get a shit ton of counters. You could do it with wolves and draw a bunch of cards. You can do it with both and do it all. I can see people building this for the love of both wolves or elves. But yeah, that seems to be it for today. Yeah, really cool things. This set looks flavorful. It looks fun. The draft environment's probably going to be pretty fun with it. A lot of new legendary creatures, a lot of new mechanics. I mean, you have like there was some that I don't even know what they really did. Like cloak the top card of their deck. Not sure what that did. We know what the collect evidence did. A lot of face down and face up type of stuff in this deck. So we'll probably see more along the way, or manifest. Maybe cloak is something similar to that. We'll have to find out. I hope you guys all have a wonderful night, and I'll see you on the next one.